Hi, my name is Maria Aguilar, and this is the Hallyu wave and its impact. So, the Hallyu wave is the global popularity of South Korea's cultural economy, exporting pop culture, entertainment, music, TV dramas, and movies. According to Martin Roll, South Korea is one of the only countries in the world, if not, is one of the only countries in the world that has dedicated their goal to become the world's leading exporter of popular culture. It is a way for Korea to develop its soft power and become one of the world's greatest powers, just like the US and the UK and Canada. So, origins of Hallyu. Hallyu began in the 90s when a couple of movies and TV dramas were released, known as Swiri, Autumn in My Heart, My Sassy Girl, Winter Sonata. These became very popular in other countries like Singapore, Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, China, and Vietnam. So back in the 90s, they had to lift the ban on foreign travel for Koreans, and this helped spread Korean culture all over the world, which it allowed them to travel all over the West and spread the culture. So the Asian financial crisis of 97-98 forced Korea to rebrand and change their image. Now we see that their image has completely changed, and we know Korea as one of the biggest exporters of pop culture. Just and BTS has probably helped Korea become one of the biggest soft powers in the world. So Samsung went international and they grew. And now we see Samsung everywhere. Samsung is super popular. But not only that, but 1/3 of venture capital is spent in entertainment. And we see this impact of the money being spent. We see a lot of K-pop artists, a lot of K-dramas and movies growing even more and coming into the US. So, music. Korean pop music has grown more popular in the last 10 years than anyone had ever foreseen. So, most people should know who Psy is, even if you don't listen to K-pop. We all know him in 2012. He released a song named Gangnam Style, and that helped spread Korean culture all over the world. And people who didn't even know about K-pop were singing this song and dancing to it. HOT and BoA were the start of the Korean wave and K-pop coming into America. They were so popular, they started spreading all over the world. And that's what K-pop does. K-pop has spread Korean culture and has helped people learn more about Korea. Food tourism is also a big factor in this, and people want to learn more. Once they eat the food, they'll want to become even more interested in the culture. So mukbangs were the start of this. Mukbangs were seen all over YouTube. YouTubers from Korea eating food and talking at the same time, or not talking and just eating into the mic. So we see Korean restaurants becoming increasingly popular, like Korean barbecue. Korean barbecue is one of the most popular things that everyone should know about. So drinking games are always fun to learn. That is also another big factor of the Korean culture. Drinking games are fun, but don't drink if you're under 21. So dramas, movies, and TV shows. K-dramas have started to pique the interest of many international audiences, and we see this with the rise of Squid Games, Parasite, and Train to Busan. These are three of the biggest ones that I have seen. I have seen people talk about Squid Games even more now. Um, that also contributes to Korean culture becoming even more popular. And K dramas were always there, but now we see that Korean pop culture is becoming even more popular, so people want to see these things more. So fashion and beauty also contribute to this. K beauty has become even more popular once the glass skin trend went viral all over social media. Idols and influencers have promoted this beauty and skincare products all over for the US and the Canadian markets as well. And many of these Korean brands are sweeping the market, and the Korean wave continues with these beauty trends. So tourism and economy. Tourism rates have started to rise. Of course, with we see the rise of K-pop, and a lot of these TV shows have caused people to want to learn more about Korea. So the inbound number of tourists from South Korea increased from 3.75 million in 1995 to 17.50 million in 2019. So K-pop and K-dramas are big contributors to this. And 47% of the tourists that took a survey by the Korean Tourism Organization said that this was due to the influence of Hallyu. So the discussion, how do you think the Korean wave will affect the world? And will mainstream media change due to the Korean wave? Will the Korean wave change the way people think about Korea? I believe that the more Korean culture spreads, I think people will start to change the way people perceive Korea and start to see that this will not stop and Korean culture will become more mainstream and more people will get to know about this. And that is my presentation. I forgot to show my references. These are my references. Thank you.